Hello everyone! In this video, we'll go over the Vocabulary Workshop Level Orange Unit 14 words. You can follow along at home using your book. Let's get started. Our first word is absolute. Absolute is an adjective, and absolute means without flaws or imperfections, without limits, without doubt. For example, the witness swore to tell the absolute truth. When something is absolute, it is 100%. It means there are no mistakes. So when you say something is absolutely true, that means you are completely sure you're not telling any lies. In this sentence here, a witness is a person who saw something, usually something bad. For example, maybe she saw somebody stealing something, and now she is telling about what she saw. But when someone is a witness, we want to make sure that they are telling the truth. So here she is swearing. It means she is saying, I will not lie. Another example could be, the classroom was in absolute silence during the test. So when there is absolute silence, it means there is 100% silence. Nobody is talking. Or I could say, winning first place gave him absolute joy. He felt 100% joy. Or I could say the teacher was absolutely certain about the answer. It means she was sure. She was sure this was the correct answer. Some synonyms of absolute are pure, perfect, entire, complete, unlimited, certain, and sure. Antonyms are flawed, limited, incomplete, restricted, and uncertain. Our next word is arena. Arena is a noun, and an arena is an enclosed space used for sports or shows, or a field of interest, activity, conflict, or debate. The example sentence says, the senator has been in the political arena ever since she was elected president of her high school class. This sentence is a little bit difficult, so let's break it down. There is a person who is a senator. You can think about this as someone similar to a president. They're like a leader of a country. They make some laws. So this senator has been in the political arena. It means they are working in this area, working as someone who is a leader of their country. So when we're using the word arena, it's kind of like saying a job or an area that people work. And when we use arena, it means we're talking about people who are having some discussion. They're talking about something. So this senator has been talking about leadership or running a country ever since she was elected president of her high school class. So ever since she was in high school, she has been working in this area of politics, of talking about leadership and how to make laws. So we can use this word arena whenever we need to talk about competitions or arguments or big activities. So political arena is a common word we would use, or we could also say business arena when people are in the place of having business, or sports arena when people are competing in some sports, or even international arena, for example, when many different countries are competing or having conversations. The other way of using this word arena is talking about an actual place where sports or events are happening. For example, I could say, we went to a basketball game at the arena. This is what an arena looks like. There's places for people to sit down, and usually in the middle, there is the place where the activity or game is happening. And in this picture here, I could say, the singers performed in a large arena. So again, this stadium is what we would call the arena, and here is where the singers are performing. So in these two ways, we can use the word arena to talk about the place where some event is happening, or it can be a field or like a job where people are having arguments or conversations. Some synonyms for arena are a stadium, theater, auditorium, field, and scene. And there are no antonyms for this word. Our next word is compliment. Compliment is a noun and it can also be used as a verb. As a noun, it means a remark or action that shows admiration, praise, or approval. Used in the plural, it is good wishes. And as a verb, it is to give praise or admiration to. A compliment is just a nice thing you say about someone or about something to show that you admire them or that you like it. It can also be sending someone good wishes, like telling them good luck when they're going to do something. Let's look at the examples. Everyone likes to receive a compliment. Do you believe that this is true? For example, do you think everyone would like to hear good work when they worked hard on something? Or do you think they would like to hear way to go when they did a good job playing a sport? I think so. So I agree with the sentence that everyone likes to receive a compliment. The other sentence says, the losing team compliments the winners on their victory. So in this sentence, there are two teams that were playing a sport, and the losing team, even though they lost, they still complimented the winners. They still told them, hey, well done, or good job. Another example would be, my mom gave me a compliment on my drawing. So mom gave me a compliment like, wow, that looks amazing, or you did a great job. And I could also say here in this picture, the chef got many compliments for his cooking. So the people in the restaurant thought that his cooking was delicious or amazing, so they gave him compliments. They told him, this is delicious, you did an amazing job. So all of those would be compliments, and we can use it as a noun to talk about the actual compliment that was said, like thumbs up is a compliment. Or we can use it as a verb to talk about the action. Someone is complimenting someone. Some synonyms of compliment are congratulations, regards, to flatter, applaud, and salute. Antonyms are blame, criticism, to insult, denounce, and criticize. Our next word is deliberate. Deliberate can be used as a verb and it can also be used as an adjective, but the way that we pronounce it is a little bit different. So as a noun, we would say deliberate. So we say this last part here like we are saying the word someone ate something. But when we use it as an adjective, this last part here is pronounced as it, deliberate. So let's talk about the verb deliberate first. Deliberate means to think about or discuss very carefully. It's like stopping to talk about something and thinking about the options that you have and then deciding what is best to do. For example, a jury may deliberate for days before reaching a verdict. Have you ever heard of this word jury? It's in a courtroom. They are the people that are listening to what the lawyers are saying, and then they will decide if somebody is guilty or not guilty, if they did something bad. For example, if this person is a thief, then the jury will listen to what the lawyer has to say, and they will decide if they are really the thief or not. Another example would be, the girls deliberated about which shoes to buy. So they thought carefully about it, they looked at all of the shoes that they had to pick from, and then they deliberated or they decided which one to buy. I could also say the teacher deliberated on who should win the prize. So there was a prize in the classroom, and now the teacher is thinking about it. She's deciding and discussing about which student deserves to win the prize. Some synonyms for deliberate are to consider, debate, and weigh. There are no antonyms for this word. And now let's talk about deliberate as an adjective. Remember, we're pronouncing the it sound, not ate. Deliberate. So deliberate means done or said on purpose. Careful, at a slow pace. Deliberate means something is not an accident. Someone did it because they wanted to do it. But it can also mean doing something slowly and carefully. The example says, a person may tell a deliberate lie to avoid blame. So this sentence is saying that a person, so someone who did something bad, they might tell a lie on purpose. So it's a deliberate lie because they want to avoid, so they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to get the blame for the thing that they did, so they will tell a deliberate lie, an on-purpose lie. And here you can see in this picture, there is this man sticking his foot out to trip this man. So I can say tripping him was deliberate. He did it on purpose. And here in this picture, you can see there is a boy taking money from his dad's wallet. So I think that he was stealing it on purpose. I could say taking money from his dad's wallet was deliberate. And for this second definition, at a slow pace, for example, I could say the painter made deliberate brush strokes on his painting. So when he is using his brush here to paint, he is doing it very carefully and very slowly to make sure he does not make any mistakes on his painting. So I can describe the brush movement as being deliberate. He made deliberate brush strokes. Some synonyms for deliberate are intentional, thoughtful, and purposeful. And antonyms are unwitting, impulsive, careless, haphazard, hasty, and hurried. Our next word is dense. Dense is an adjective, and dense means something is close or packed together. It's thick, or it can also mean stupid. The example says, a dense crowd blocked the entrance to the building. So since dense means things are close or packed together, we can describe this crowd of people as being dense. Another example would be these trees in the forest. I could say, a dense forest has trees standing very close to each other. It's difficult to walk through a dense forest. Or I could also say here, I could not see through the dense fog. This fog in the picture is very thick, so it's difficult to see through it. And for this other definition of dense, it can also talk about someone who is doing something that's not very smart. So we might describe that person as being dense. Of course, this is not a very nice thing to say to someone. But I could say, the dense man was cutting the part of the tree that he was sitting on. So of course, this is not very smart because when he's done cutting it, he will fall down. So it's a dense action. Some synonyms for dense are compact, solid, crowded, dull-witted, and thick-headed. Antonyms are sparse, open, scattered, thin, alert, clever, and smart. Our next word is dominant. Dominant is an adjective, and dominant means above all others, leading or controlling, having the most power. So someone who is dominant is the strongest, the most powerful, or the most important one. For example, the president is usually the dominant figure in his or her political party. So a president, we already know, is the leader of all the people. So because they are the strongest, the most powerful, or the most important, we can describe them as being dominant. Another example of a dominant thing might be a lion. So a lion is the dominant animal in the jungle. They are the most powerful and the strongest ones. I could also say English is the dominant language in many countries. In many countries around the world, English is the strongest language there. It means most of the people speak that language, so it is the dominant language. Some countries might speak more than one language, like India or even South Africa. But if most of the people speak English there, then we can say it is the dominant language. I could also say he was the dominant player on the team. So he was the strongest player, or the player that was the most important on the team. Some synonyms for dominant are chief, main, first, foremost, and commanding. Antonyms are inferior, secondary, humble, and modest. Our next word is hazardous. Hazardous is an adjective, and something that is hazardous means involving risk or danger. The example sentence says, special containers are used for disposing of hazardous waste. So when something is hazardous, it can hurt you or it can cause problems, so you need to be very careful around it. So when there are items or liquid that are hazardous, they're usually put in some special containers like these, and they have a sign on the front to let people know that these things are dangerous. And people who are working with hazardous waste or hazardous trash, they often wear some safety suits like this in the picture as well. I could also say the workers wore helmets in the hazardous area. So I can describe an area or a place as being hazardous or as being dangerous. For example, in construction, there might be things falling down from above, so they need to wear these helmets to be safe. And I could also say driving in a snowstorm can be hazardous. It can be dangerous because the roads are a little bit slippery, and if it's snowing a lot, it can be difficult to see. So it's dangerous, it's hazardous. Some synonyms for hazardous are dangerous, perilous, risky, and unsafe. Antonyms are safe, certain, and secure. Our next word is huddle. Huddle is a verb, and huddle means to crowd close together, to form a closely packed group, to get together to discuss something. The example says, campers may huddle around a fire on a cold night. People usually huddle when they are cold or when they want to talk quietly or when they need to make a plan. So in this sentence here, you can see there are some campers and there is a warm fire, so they're huddling together. They're very close, very next to each other around that fire so that they can all stay warm. And I could also say, we huddled under the umbrella when it rained. So here these kids are very close together because they're trying to stay dry under the umbrella. And huddle can also mean that there is someone who is getting together to discuss or talk about something. For example, here I can say the team huddled to do a cheer before their presentation. Maybe they have a special presentation they need to do, so before the presentation, they come together to talk about what they're going to do, and then they do a cheer, like we can do it. Some synonyms for huddle are to bunch, cluster, and gather, and there are no antonyms for this word. And huddle can also be used as a noun. So here we were using it as a verb, as the action of coming close together. But now we're talking about the actual thing, this huddle. This shape here that you see when the people are close together is what we would call a huddle. So huddle as a noun is a tightly packed group, a meeting or discussion, and in football, a quick meeting of players on the field to plan the next play. That's this picture here. The example says, the coaches held a brief huddle on the sidelines. So when groups are huddling together like this, we can say they are in a huddle. This is a way that we would often use this word as a noun. Someone or a group is in a huddle. Some synonyms for huddle are a bunch and conference, and there are no antonyms for this word. Our next word is necessity. Necessity is a noun, and a necessity is something that cannot be avoided or done without. Great need. For example, water is a necessity for life. If there is no water, then there can be no life on planet Earth. Food, water, and air are necessities for life. I could also say warm clothes are a necessity in the winter. If you don't have it, then you would be very, very cold, or you might be in a lot of danger because you need to protect your body from the cold. Another example could be a pencil is a necessity for the test. If you don't have a pencil during your test, then you cannot complete it. So it is something that cannot be done without. And for some people, a phone might be a necessity. For example, if they need a phone for their work, then it can be described as a necessity. Some synonyms for necessity are a requirement, an essential, a must, or a want. Antonyms are an option, an extra, or a luxury. Our next word is offend. Offend is a verb, and offend means to break a law or rule, to cause hurt feelings, anger, or injury. And the second definition here is the one that we use most often. For example, thoughtless behavior will offend most people. So let's say that there is a friend who became offended. So this other friend said something mean, and now she feels offended. So I could say she was offended when her friend made a mean joke, because offended means that her feelings are hurt. So she might feel angry or sad because of the mean joke that her friend said. So when someone says something that makes you feel angry or sad, then you could say they offended you. Another example could be, she offended the rules by cheating on the test. So offend can also mean to break the law or to break a rule. So if you are cheating on a test by writing the answers on your hand, then you are offending the rules. Or I could also say, my mom was offended when I didn't want to try her cooking. So if your mom works very hard on cooking something for you and you don't even want to try it, then your mom might have hurt feelings. She might feel offended. Some synonyms for offend are to embarrass, displease, insult, upset, irritate, annoy, and wound. Antonyms are to please, charm, and soothe. Our next word is regain. Regain is a verb and it means to get back, to reach again. For example, it takes time to regain your strength after an illness. So when you are sick, you might feel a little bit weak for some time, and then after a while, you will regain your strength. It will come back to you because regain means to get something back. I could say, my grandmother is going to the gym to regain her muscle. So she wants to get back the muscle that she lost, maybe from not doing any exercise. Or I could say, she regained her energy after drinking coffee. So the coffee helped her get back or regain her energy. And let's say that you are in a race. I could say the runner regained first place in the race. So they didn't have first place, but then they regained it. They got it back. And lastly, I could say he needed to regain his focus on his work. If you ever become tired or lose your focus when you're doing work, you can say that you need to regain your focus. Maybe you need to stand up and walk around or drink some water. Some synonyms for regain are to recover, and antonyms to lose, forfeit. Our last word is thorough. Thorough is an adjective, and thorough means carried out to completion, complete in every detail, extremely careful or exact. When something is thorough, it is done completely and carefully, and there are many details. When you're thorough, you don't miss anything, you check everything. For example, the dentist gave me a thorough checkup. So when you go to the dentist and they check your teeth, if it's thorough, that means the dentist carefully checked all of the teeth and did everything that he was supposed to do with a lot of detail. So there's nothing bad or dirty left on your teeth. I could also say, they gave the room a thorough cleaning. So when they clean thoroughly, it means everything is cleaned. They cleaned everything in that room. You could also say, he did a thorough job on his homework. So when he was doing his homework, he didn't just do it quickly to finish. He did it carefully and he finished all of the homework. So he was thorough. Lastly, I could say, the doctor asked thorough questions about my health. So this doctor asked her very careful and detailed questions so that the doctor could understand everything that was wrong with the woman. Some synonyms for thorough are exhaustive, extensive, total, and full. Antonyms are incomplete, partial, limited, unfinished, cursory, and inadequate. And that's all for this video. We went over the Vocabulary Workshop Level Orange Unit 14 words. Thank you so much for listening and see you next time. Bye!